results today the same as yesterday. 31-minute rain delay, and the Royals going on to win 11-3. And now we're going to have a rain delay of about 33 minutes as the first pitch is delivered. And Billy Butler over near the tarp, running out of room. 4 hits, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs for Billy last night. He had been 0 for his last 7 and hitting just 193, but now a 242 batting average coming in today. Marco Scutaro in the first 2 games has been on base 7 times. And now he belts it into left center field. Neither Bloomquist or Crisp are going to get there, and it's over the wall. So the second pitch of the game is the 5th home run of the year for Marco Scutaro.
You know, 5 home runs, Ryan, from your leadoff guy right at this point in the season is pretty impressive. Cal left the fastball out over the plate, and he really got the head on that ball. And talking to Cito Gaston before the game, he was really surprised by the plate patience that Scutaro's been showing so far, and he really felt coming in that he needed defense, and that was the reason Scutaro got the job at second base, because of his defense first. So the offense has been a pleasant surprise.
1 ball, 1 strike on Aaron Hill. Well, Scutaro with the Oakland A's was mostly just a backup guy, and Bobby Crosby has had some injuries, so he got to play a lot of shortstop. Mark Ellis has had some injuries, played some second base, and you wonder about some guys, you know, is there a reason why they're a backup, or they just need an opportunity to play every day? And some scoffed at the idea that the Blue Jays would make Scutaro their everyday shortstop and leadoff hitter, and he's really found a way to thank the Blue Jays for that decision.
Well, he's doing a great job to this point for the Blue Jays, and the first 2 games he showed a lot of patience where he took a lot of pitches. The last 2 nights he's been going after the first pitch fastball, and he did the same thing with Kyle Davies today. Fouled the first one off and hit a home run on the second one.
So Aaron Hill, 5th in the league in batting. He has the most hits in the American League with 38, 4 of them in this series. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Hill has already driven in 20 runs as a number 2 hitter. Got the pitch in on the hands, and Crisp in center field makes the catch, so Kyle comes back to get Aaron Hill on a fly ball, 1 away. Starting to warm up at Kauffman Stadium, 66 degrees. We may see the sun eventually. First pitch at 1:43, so a 33-minute rain delay. Official time and temp presented by the parking spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The parking spot at KCI. The Royals have really pitched Alex Rios well, one of the big threats in the Blue Jays lineup. A very quiet 2 for 11 without an RBI. Kyle running that one up there at 92 miles an hour. Two and 1. Well, you never want to open the game giving up a home run, but it's just 1 run. But in Kyle's last start, it was the extra base hit that really hurt him. He gave up 4 different 2-run extra base hits. Rios went around 2 and 2. Gave up 2 2-run home runs, a 2-run triple, and a 2-run double. And in the end, 7 runs on 8 hits and 5 1/3 innings.
But those extra base hits are the one that keeps the innings going. A home run over the wall, the base is still empty and you got a chance to recover. But when they keep getting base hit first and third all the time, doubles, triples, and keep those guys running all the time, that adds more pressure. Sometimes a home run is like a breath of fresh air to a pitcher because he gets to start over.
Can kill a rally.
It can definitely kill a rally for sure.
the middle and past Aviles. So Rios at first, one out. Marco Scutaro opening the game with a home run to left center field. And that brings up Vernon Wells.
Well, Cal tried to get a four-seamer down and away, and Rios really hit that ball on the end of the bat and really just hit it in a good spot up the middle.
A young pitcher can really let something like that frustrate him, where a veteran pitcher says, hey, I put the ball where I wanted, and sometimes the guy ends up with a base hit.
Yeah, he got it down, and Rios just really extended a little bit further out and really hit it in a good spot. You know, up the middle is a big area up the middle. That's why hitting coaches always stress stay between the gaps and up the middle, because that's where the hits are.
Vernon Wells, 4 hits, 4 driven in. Blue Jays don't run much. They have 9 stolen bases in their first 23 games. Rios has 2 stolen bases. One and one on Vernon Wells. They are 3rd in the league in home runs. So the averages would tell you they're better off just sitting back and waiting for the home run or at least an extra base hit. They lead the league in runs scored.
Well, Cito Gaston, when they get to the back of the order, he can play a different kind of game.
6-4-3. Great feed by Aviles to start the double play. And Davies gives up just the 1 run. Lined up today, brought to you by M&I Bank. Willie Bloomquist back in there in left field. Billy Butler's at first base. Mike Jacobs, the designated hitter. John Buck gets the start. He'll be batting 8th at catcher. And the Royals facing for the 3rd time left-hander Brian Burris. Here's the Kia scouting report.
Well, Ryan, he has fastball slotted change. The last time out, 4 walks in 4 1/3 innings. He was out of the game early, so this might be a guy that the Royals will approach with maybe a little more patience, taking a few more pitches and hitting more actual strikes. The difference between strikes and actual strikes is because hitters swing at pitches doesn't make them strikes. So you have to make sure they're actual strikes before you swing at them, and you should be able to center him up pretty good.
Good point. Yeah, when we check our pitch counts and it says balls and strikes, doesn't necessarily mean it was in the zone.
Right. It's just what the guys swing at. And that's one of the tools that scouts use a lot of times when they go out and scout. They say, well, how many strikes did he throw at it? And then they say, well, how many actual strikes did he throw? So he could be a high fastball guy out of the zone, and hitters chase a lot, or they throw a lot of breaking balls away, and they chase balls out of the strike zone. So that's always a good barometer for trying to judge a pitcher's command.
1-2 on Coco. 3 hits, couple of doubles in this series with the Jays. He scored twice. Here's the big curveball. It's 2-2. Burris, a former 31st round draft pick of the San Francisco Giants, and he's listed at 180 now, but was much skinnier than that 9 years ago, so that scared off some teams. And apparently that runs in the family. There's a story about his father was nicknamed the Blade, and so Brian got the nickname the Blade. Some guys just take a little longer to fill out. Some guys never fill out.
They keep that good body forever.
The skinny frame might not come in handy when the scouts are looking at you, but it sure comes in handy when your baseball career's over.
Yeah, you quit working out. You don't have those nice plans that you go on where you control your weight in the off season, and you got to really be careful when you get out of this game.
Rios to the line in right field and now into the corner, and it's off the barrier wall. So that ball had some slice on it and wasn't helping Rios out at all, and it's still 3-2 on Coco.
You know, that foul line in right field, it doesn't really have a lot of space right there. So that's one of those balls where the outfielder has to be careful too, because if he does come down and if he doesn't play it quite right, it could hit that yellow part and just go right on around the fence and be good for, well, Coco could actually be an inside the park home run.
That's where Billy needed to hit it last night for his final at bat.
That would have been perfect.
And hit hard into right center field. Nobody's there. Coco going to try and turn it into a triple. And he is in there. Runner at third, nobody out.
Well, you can see Coco, the pitch before, was trying to make an effort to go to right field, and Burris left a fastball out over the plate, and Coco stayed with his plan and drove the ball in the right center. We talked about how close the outfielders play, so a ball like that would split the outfielders. And then with Coco's speed, and he makes great turns around the bases, and he makes a triple very easily.
So Toronto got a home run from Marcos Scudero to open the game, and a 1-0 lead. Now Coco Crisp with the leadoff triple, 90 feet away from tying the game. And this is the type of guy you want up at the plate. Willie Bloomquist, who at the bare minimum can hit a little ground ball and tie it up.
You just want to look at the infield and see what they're giving you. So they're giving you the middle of the field, so ground ball to second and short, you got you an RBI.
Change up makes it 1-1. Willie's had a nice series. 2 starts, 3 hits, 3 walks. 3 runs scored. Mentioned last inning, David DeJesus has a stiff back. It's not serious. Royals aren't worried about it, but maybe needed an extra game to allow that to loosen up. David playing in just as a starter 1 game in this series so far, and had a couple of hits, including a double. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Well, this lineup definitely going to need a healthy David DeJesus in it for it to go where it needs to go. He's got the ability to get on base, and he plays an outstanding left field for the Royals.
3-2. Didn't see a whole lot of Willie Bloomquist in the outfield when he was with the Seattle Mariners. So when the Royals signed him, you figured backup infielder, and if you needed, he could go and play in the outfield. But he has played more outfield with the Royals than he has on the infield dirt.
Well, I asked him about left field the other day, and he gave me that big shoulder shrug, like, okay, I haven't been over here, so let's. But he's done a great job.
That is an excellent swing to make sure he gets the runner home. It's a kind of RBI that you won't see on the highlight shows, but making sure he gets Coco Crisp to the plate, and that's his 4th RBI of the year.
All right, and that's a player that's really just saying, I don't have to get a base hit to get an RBI. I'm gonna do what the defense has let me do. They say if I can hit a ground ball to second, a shortstop, I got an RBI, and that's what Willie Bloomquist does right here. He just takes a nice pitch down and in, stays inside of it, second base, RBI.
Now 0-1 to Mark Teahen. You and I have discussed this player before, and for some reason he's the guy that pops into my head when I see a ground ball like that. But Edgar Martinez, when he was playing for the Seattle Mariners, a situation like that, runner at third, infield back, he'd get his share of hits and home runs and big hits like that. But I don't know if there was anyone in the game. It's just putting the bat on the ball and making sure at the bare minimum that you get that runner home from third base.
If you want to drive in a lot of runs, you're not thinking about base hits in that situation. You're thinking about a sac fly. You're thinking about keeping the ball in the middle and off the corners. Anything to get that run in. If you get a base hit in the process, then that's the plus. But the defense is saying, we'll give you this. And so if you're able to take advantage of it, then you're going to drive in a lot of runs for the year's over.
Back to Burris. Easy toss to Millar. Mark Teahen is out. So a 1-1 tie. Now Jose Guillen had a 2-home run game a couple of nights ago. Hitless last night. And steps in now 0 for his last 8. Fastball a little bit low. Coco Crisp with a leadoff triple. Willie Bloomquist ground ball got him home to tie the game. Back to Burris again. A little longer throw this time, and the Royals are down in the first inning. But getting a big spark from Coco Crisp with this inning opening triple, and Willie Bloomquist gets him to the plate. Kyle Davies. Let's take a look at our league leaders, brought to you by our Kansas City area Toyota dealers. And speaking of Zach, he leads the majors with 5 wins. He has the lowest ERA, the most strikeouts. and tied for the Major League lead with 2 complete games. First Royals pitcher ever to have 5 wins in the month of April. One and one to Adam Lind. Adam Lind just 1 for 11 with 4 strikeouts in this 4-game series so far, and gets all over a curveball. Coco cuts it off and holds him to a single. That snaps an 0 for 10 for Adam Lind and brings up veteran Kevin Millar. We've seen Kevin Millar with Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles, now his first year with the Blue Jays, so he spent a lot of time in the American League East. He won World Series with Boston in 2004. And that's lined to center field in front of Crisp. So 2 on, nobody out.
Well, Kyle was up with the breaking ball to Lind, and he was also up with the fastball to Millar. And they're just not waiting. They're swinging. So he's going to have to do a better job of spotting his fastball on the inner half or on the outer half to get that first pitch strike over.
And now Jose Bautista. He's batted once, played in center field last night. He's starting at third base today with Scott Rowland getting the day off.
Looks like the Royals infield expecting a bunt right here with the corners in, and the middle infield is double play depth.
Not bunting and taking ball 1. Bautista played in 25 games for the Royals back in 2004. Traded to and by the Royals that same season. Back to Kyle. Out at second base. Low throw, and Billy handles it. How about that backhand pick? The Royals turned their 3rd double play in the last 2 games.
I think I was more excited to see Kyle go for the double play and not throw the ball to third base. That was getting to be a trend with the pitchers. But he did a great job setting his feet. Gave Aviles a super throw. And Mike just seemed like he just kind of let up on it a little bit. And Billy did a great job on the backhand side picking that ball out of the dirt.
So Lind at third base, 2 down for Raul Chavez. Journeyman catcher, his first year with the Blue Jays. Appeared in the first game of the series and 0 for 1. Two and 0. Kyle admitted after the start on Saturday that there were just too many 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 counts. And the Tigers made him pay for that. This 2-0 pitch is fouled away.
Well, this is what we talked about, what Kyle needs to do. Just get the ball down. And that's that 2-seamer that's going down, and that's really good. A really good pitch for him. And I think that he's got the cutter, but you got to really set all that up with fastball command.
And line to center field. Coco is going to have to play it on a bounce, and the Blue Jays are back out in front again. So another hitter's count, 2-1, and Chavez drives in his first.
Yeah, that was a hitter's count, and also the pitch was up, and major league hitters just aren't going to miss that pitch when they're heading the count. And this pitch just stayed right up out over the plate, and he did just what he's supposed to do with that pitch. He drove it right back through the middle of the field.
Now the number 9 hitter, Travis Snyder. just 1 out of 11 so far. So another Blue Jays hitter that the Royals have pitched well to this series. Blue Jays first round pick in 2006. 1-1. Fooled badly by the changeup. So the Jays with 5 hits already. They got the solo homer from Scudero in the top of the first inning to go alongside 4 singles. Three balls, 1 strike. It's another hitter count.
Well, this is when a hitter will definitely sit on his pitch. If he wants it middle away or middle land, then he'll go after. If it's not his pitch, he'll take it and take his chances on 3 and 2.
Instead, a changeup, and that makes the count full.
Well, you normally don't see that on 3-1 pitches, a changeup with a man on first base, but that seems to be the pitch that Cal has real good control of right now. So it's an excellent time to throw it if you can get it over for a strike.
Chavez runs, and it's lifted to shallow left. Bloomquist sprinting in, dives, and he caught it. Really, Bloomquist has done it all for the Royals on this homestand. With the bat, and now with the glove. All right, day game. What are you going to tell your boss in order to get out to the ballpark? A, you have a doctor's appointment. B, you have a sick dog or cat. C, you have car trouble. Or D, a flooded basement, which is a possibility the way it's been raining the past few days. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals followed by a space and your answer. And we'll see what you think throughout the game. Billy Butler, 4 hits last night, 2 home runs. His first home run coming early in the game, in fact, the second inning. And it tied the game at 1, and now he bats. The Royals down by 1. And he's way ahead in the count, 3-0.
Ryan, what can make Burris a potential tough guy to face? If you look at his fastball, it's 87 to 90. but his curveball, slider, and change are all in the same range, 72 to 78. So to be able to distinguish between those pitches might be a problem.
4-pitch walk, and Royals have the leadoff man on in the second straight inning. This week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Grady Sizemore and the Indians head to Detroit to take on Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers. Fox Saturday Baseball returns this week at a special time of 2:30 following This Week in Baseball, which is on the air at 2 o'clock. So 4-pitch walk, bringing up Mike Jacobs, who has shaved that chin hair, which was going on several inches.
I was waiting for him to give it a name, but I never heard one.
And a good aggressive swing at the first pitch from Burris. Two hits, 2 walks for Jacobs last night. The first hit snapped an 0 for 18. Good curveball, 0-2. So that's what he looked like last night before shaving off the chin hair. That's an interesting time to shave it after you have a good game.
Yeah, normally they hold on to things like that.
Down on 3 pitches, Burris strikes out his first.
And that's the pitch that really Mike has to lay off of, it, that sweeping curveball to the outer half of the plate. He has a hitter, he stands so straight up that really Milland is his target. But if he's going to stand straight up and stay Milland, then he can't chase that breaking ball that goes to the other side of the plate down.
Alberto Callaspo lost a 10-game hitting streak 2 nights ago, but back with 2 hits last night. It's impressive .375 batting average, which is 6th best in the American League.
Alberto's one of those smart hitters. You see Burris likes to stay away. He's got the big hole over there. So he's trying to hit that ball between second and first and take advantage of the spacing between the second baseman and first baseman.
Now Burris pitching him inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Just missed the outside.
But one of the few things you don't see from the Royals team, or a lot of teams in baseball, is a drag bunt. And when you don't have guys that do it on a regular basis, the third baseman is able to play back and be comfortable. And really the only player that we have would be Coco Chris that he would probably come in on.
Into right center. That's going to drop. Billy's going to go first to third. And Callaspo into second with a double. The tying runner at third base, go ahead runner at second with only 1 out.
Yeah, Berto was trying to go that way all the way, so he picks a changeup right here, and he just stays out over the plate and really drives the ball into right center field. You can tell from the first pitch that his idea was to go that direction. Starting to become a doubles machine.
That's 8 for him.
And he did a great job too in forcing the issue at second base.
And that pitch really confused Chavez. He was expecting a fastball up and away, so he'll go to the mound, and the shortstop Scudero will go to the mound.
Well, one difference, Ryan, is that if you're going to get crossed up, you want to get crossed up with a breaking ball. You don't want to get crossed up with a fastball. Those balls are known to be dangerous not only to the catcher, but they've been known to be dangerous to the umpire.
And that's one way to get the umpire on your bad side the rest of the day. Tough to get borderline calls from him when you throw one off of his shoulder. That curveball hanging high. It's 2-0. Well, last night Billy Butler with a 193 batting average, 0 for his last 7, 4 hits. Mike Jacobs 0 for his last 18 last night, 2 hits, 2 walks. And now John Buck stands in there, 0 for his last 15. And that's what I'm talking about. All the way back to the fence. Snyder leaping off the top of the wall. It stays in. Butler scores. Here comes Callaspo. And John Buck has hit a 2-run triple.
Ryan, I really like how you call these shots, you know. John gets a high changeup right here, waits on it, and really hits it. As soon as he hit it, you say, yeah, just like that. And the good thing that John did after he hit that ball, he ran. I mean, for him to end up at third base on that is outstanding. That's outstanding base running on his part.
Yeah, because now you have a runner at third with 1 out, as opposed to a runner at second, 1 out. Mike Aviles takes strike 1. That's triple number 4 in Buck's career, his first this year. Infield in for the Blue Jays. And it's 1-1 on Aviles.
Well, Mike's situation is a little different than Bloomquist. He's got to make sure he gets the pitch up so he can get it over the infield, where Bloomquist had the middle of the infield to hit a ground ball. Mike doesn't have that luxury here to get the run in.
1-2 on Aviles. 4 hits, 4 runs scored. Brian Bullington warming up, and that happened quickly as soon as the throw came to third late for John Buck. Man, they were moving in a hurry in the left field bullpen. Two balls, 2 strikes. It's only the second start for Brian Burris, another guy put into the rotation because of injuries. In his first start was Saturday at Chicago. He gave up 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Popped up, and that's out of play. Royals have seen Burris twice before today, and both times last year when he was pitching for the Orioles. He has not won a game in the big leagues since July the 11th of last year. And he gets a big strikeout of Aviles with a breaking ball down and in. Second strikeout of the inning. And brings up Coco Crisp. Coco got things going for the Royals in the bottom of the first.
Well, he did a great job staying out over the plate with that fastball and drove it into right center field. And when he gets the ball between the outfielders, it's definitely a triple for Coco Crisp.
Coco's 4th triple of the year. That leads the major leagues. Two balls, no strikes.
You know, the home run, Ryan, is really an exciting play in baseball, but when you see a guy running a triple, you see that you always got to go by the crowd noise. You hit first base and you go to second. That's one that they go up a little bit louder. Then we hit second and go to third. It gets a little bit louder. So it's great to watch guys that can run, and it's fun to watch.
Hit hard. Scudero picks it and throws to Millar for the out. But the Royals come right back with 2 in the second inning. John Buck snaps an 0 for 15. company clothes closet on Tuesdays. He's also active in his church, helping to mow the church grounds during the summer. And he's sitting in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat at today's game and enjoying the Royals' 3-2 victory as we go to the third. We have not had a scoreless half inning yet. Jays with one in the first, one in the second. The Royals one in the first, two in the second. Now the second time through the order, and Marco Scutaro, who hit his 5th home run of the year, leading off the game. Kyle Davies in his first 3 starts allowed 1 home run, and that was against some strong lineups, but 1 home run in 18 2/3 innings. But on his last 2 starts, he's given up 3. The Scutaro one wasn't a painful home run, it was just a solo shot. And lays down a bunt foul, 1-2.
Now that's a typical leadoff hitter. He goes from one extreme to the other. Home run the first time and trying to get a bunt base hit the second time. So that shows he's got that versatility, and he just keeps the defense honest, and nobody can really relax out there because they never know what he's going to do.
Also keep the defense uneasy, won't it? You don't know what you're going to get from the guy, and now he shoots one right through Davies' legs and into center field. So down in the count, 1-2. Scutaro singles, and he's 2 for 2. Now let's take a look at today's Roadrunner Turbo speed pitch from the first 2 innings. Kyle Davies at 93, Brian Burris at 91. Remember, you can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Aaron Hill flied out to center field in the first inning. Tien out at second, double play, second straight inning. So the Jays have 6 hits in 2 2/3 innings, but Kyle Davies has made 2 big pitches in the last 2 innings to get 4 outs.
Well, Mark did a great job standing with that ground ball. It's sort of an in-between hop, and it's throw to second baseman Casper was just right on target, right on the chest, and Alberto did a great job and made a great turn on that ball. Mark's really done a fine job at third base. He just looks so comfortable over there. He's made all the plays, and he gives a nice throw on the double play. So it's not much he hasn't been able to do over at third base.
1-1 now on Alex Rios. Well, remember that game in Cleveland on Wednesday night when the Indians turned double plays in 6 straight innings. Now the Royals have turned a double play in 3 straight innings. Tien fighting the sun, makes the catch, so leadoff single, but Davies gets a ground ball double play and a pop out. Faces only 3 in the third. Frank, what do Kia and Heineken have in common?
They go good with onions.
And bratwurst.
Yeah, those big bratwurst.
Yeah. Willie Bloomquist with his first hit. He tied the game with an RBI groundout in the first inning. So he's had a good day at the plate again. He's had another good game in the field, in particular outfield. This goes back to the first homestand, a catch that he made against the Yankees, and then on the road trip in Cleveland. Those were catches in right field, and then earlier today on a fly ball from Travis Snyder in the second inning. Really diving to make the catch, and now he's at first with nobody out. Ball one to Mark Teahen.
He's been on the ground a lot since he's been in the outfield. He's made some tough catches after long runs, and that's what's been more impressive.
Two and 0. Blue Jays had Brian Bullington warming up in the bullpen as they are on their way to scoring 2 runs last inning right after the John Buck 2-run triple. Bullington throwing again. That occurred right after Bloomquist's first pitch single to left field. Already had 5 runs, 10 hits today, and that's before getting through 3 innings. The difference so far is that Kyle Davies, while he's given up 6 hits in 3 innings, he's come up with 3 double play ground balls. Tee into the right side. Millar fumbles, isn't going to get anyone. Frank, it looked like he had the right idea first to just keep his momentum and get the lead runner.
Well, that was the direction it looked like he was anticipating going, and you know that old saying, you can't change boats in the middle of the stream. And once you take your eye off the ball, and with the way Teahen runs down the line, you can't bobble a ball like that and still get him.
Tougher play for a right-hand thrower, obviously, but he was moving right towards second base. That would have been a short throw.
That would have been the ideal place to go with that ball.
The Royals will take it, 2 on, nobody out, and now Jose Guillen. Should I make another prediction?
I would. Yes, do it.
Well, Guillen is 0 for his last 9. In the last 2 games, Royals have been one by one individually breaking out of slumps. Ball 1 to Guillen.
Well, he was a little bit out front his last at bat and grounded back to Burrs. He just got to be a little patient. He's not going to get a lot of fastballs. Just sit back and wait for something off speed.
Now 2 balls, no strikes. This was earlier in the series. Game 1 on Monday night.
And one home run was off a slider, and the other home run was off a changeup. So I think Burris is going to fall right in that line. So he just got to be patient and get his pitch and let the ball come to him and don't try to go out and get it.
Over against lefty David Percy. Three balls, no strikes. And Brian Burris might be down to his last hitter.
Well, I have a feeling Jose Guillen's going to be swinging on this pitch here if it's one that he really likes.
Not the pitch he wanted. 3-1. Cito Gaston, when the count went to 3-0, moved from another part of the dugout to about halfway up the steps.
Let's say he's one step away.
Literally.
Well, Jose, normally you think Jose Guillen would be swinging 3-0 in that situation. And the way he took that fastball kind of told me that he was sitting on something other than a fastball.
Now 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, this is that good arm motion on the changeup. I said a lot of his pitches are out of in the same speed zone, and you really got to distinguish between the slider, the curveball, and the change. And that arm slot probably looked just like the fastball arm slot, and Jose really got out in front.
Bloomquist reached with a single, teeing on an error. Runners go, and Guillen grounds it through the left side. That'll get a runner home. Well, that's a huge gamble with nobody out, but it pays off big for the Royals.
Jose does a good job here. The runners are running, and the pitch is probably inside, and he really pulls his hands in like he does that as good as anybody, Ryan. And he really hit one through. He got one through the hole between short and third. Normally, managers don't run when there are no outs in that situation because you're always afraid of the triple play, and they usually wait for 1 out. But Jose did a good job pulling his hands in to get the run in.
Burris out, Bullington in. For the second time in the series. And he's going to have to face Billy Butler. Bullington pitched a scoreless 8th inning in the game on Monday. Ball 1. Billy walked on 4 pitches leading off the second inning. Scored on John Buck's 2-run triple. 2-0. Brian Bullington was the first overall pick of the Pirates in 2002. And then had some injury problems in Pittsburgh, had right shoulder surgery after the 2005 season. 2 balls, 1 strike. That was the same draft that the Royals took Zach Greinke in the first round. The Brewers took Prince Fielder. The Mets took Scott Kazmir and then traded him later to the Rays. The Oakland A's took Joe Blanton. I think that always kind of hangs over your head when you're taking that high in the draft. Who are the guys after you, and do those guys end up having better careers than you do?
Yeah, and then he has an excellent pitcher's body.
Billy to right center field, just keeps on hitting. Tien scores. Guillen is going to be held at third, and Billy Butler drives in his 5th run in the last 2 games. And the Royals lead by 3.
We talked earlier about Billy's ability to hit in the middle of the field. Bullington throws a slider here, left it out over the plate, and Billy does a good job, as he did last night, staying with his head down on the ball and driving the ball in the right center field. When Billy's right here, then he's going to be a tough out for a while.
And before they pitch to Mike Jacobs, Al Chavez wants to make sure that he and Bullington are on the same page with runner at second base with the series of signs. Blue Jays will have the infield in halfway, as Guillen does not possess great speed at third base, so they didn't have to come all the way in.
Well, the best way for Bullington to attack this situation, he's got a good sinker. If you can run it down and away and get Mike Jacobs to roll over on the ground, then that would be the way he would induce a ground ball in this situation.
Mike struck out in the 2nd inning against Burris. Royals with 1 in the first to tie the game at 1. 2 in the second to take the lead, and now they've added 2 more here in the third. Still nobody out. And Jacobs fouls it off to the third base side. There, Bautista makes the catch. 1 away. Fans, the new weekday play pack is a great deal for weekday games in May. 4 Field Plaza tickets, $20 worth of concessions, and unlimited free games in the outfield for just $40. Get your weekday pack by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com, the stadium box office, or an area Hy-Vee food store. 4 Field Plaza tickets, $20 worth of concessions, and unlimited games of the new outfield experience for just $40. That's a great deal. Alberto Callaspo is going to be intentionally walked with an open base, and the Jays would rather have a righty-righty matchup with John Buck coming up. Callaspo doubled and scored on John Buck's triple last inning.
Well, by walking Callaspo here, you bring up the right-handed hitter and set up the double play situation to get you out of the inning.
So John Buck, he snapped an 0 for 15 in the 2nd inning with this 2-run triple.
Well, he kind of changed up out over the plate. He got it high in the air and off the top of the wall in left center field, and just kept hustling all the way into third base. Never slowed up.
The Royals have had a tough time this year with the bases loaded. Guillen is the runner at third base. Wells fighting the sun, collides with Rios. Guillen will score. Now this will be interesting because the ball was caught, but it was bobbled. So when was the catch actually made? And the Blue Jays think that Guillen left early. The ruling is that he didn't. Let's take another look.
Well, the rule says the base runner's got to wait till the ball is secured in the glove before he can consider the tag and go home. But the ball bobbled right there, so that causes some confusion.
So the Royals lead 6-2, and our replays clearly show that Guillen took off well before Vernon Wells did secure that baseball, but that's got to be another one of those very difficult calls for an umpire.
That's one you got to go back to the books on right there, because that's one that doesn't show up very often.
Okay, this is going to sound crazy, but it won't be the first time. I wonder if there's an exception made if only one fielder touches the ball and bobbles it and makes a catch. Because theoretically, Vernon Wells could keep juggling it around and make his way back to the infield at the same time. I mean, I know that sounds bizarre, but the third base umpire, Mike Winters, was acknowledging the bobble, and Cito Gasson did not argue very long. Aviles flies out. The Royals had 3 more in the third and lead 6-2. Game, the Royals have had a good day at the plate after being behind early in the game.
Well, Ryan, it's really kind of nice to see the guys really add on and just don't die. They really came back. But the good thing is they're getting it from everybody. Caspo, Coco, John Buck, Billy Butler. So they're really just spreading this offense through the lineup, and this is where the Royals want to be right from the very beginning. Rather than having to depend on one guy, now the whole lineup is definitely involved in scoring runs.
Vernon Wells hits it a mile, but foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. We were talking about, speaking of Vernon Wells, a bobble on this sacrifice fly in center field and how that was ruled, and Joel Goldberg was able to find Steve Palermo.
Yeah, Ryan, the umpire got the call exactly right. As soon as it touches, this is how Steve said it, as soon as it touches his person, is the way he said it, it is considered a catch if the ball is eventually caught. Think about that. If a guy were to want to bobble it with a runner on third, let's say it hits his glove and he starts bobbling it all the way into the infield to make sure he doesn't tag, well, the end result is a catch. So the second that touched Vernon Wells' glove, provided that it ends up being a catch, it could hit Vernon Wells' glove and 3 other guys' glove. The second that it hits his glove, provided the catch is happening at the end, that's when Jose Guillen could tag. It was the right call.
All right, thanks, Joel. The more we thought about it, and here's another look, if he has to secure it before Guillen can take off, he clearly left too early, and then all of a sudden, you know, we kicked it around, and, you know, it ends up being the right call. I thought it was kind of a crazy assumption to make, but, you know, Joel backing me up that you literally could keep batting that ball in the air, and the runner can't go anywhere.
Right, I can see Steve Palermo saying the same thing to Joel also. So the basic rule says the runner has to wait until the fielder first contacts the ball before leaving his base.
So it could hit him on the head, right? I mean, it could hit him on the arm. Because Joel said, reporting from Steve Palermo, as soon as it hits his person, so anything attached to the player. Well, that's good to know.
Well, I've got my official rule book here, so took a while, but we got there.
Butler at first, on the bag, and now they've got Wells in a rundown. And Billy cannot apply the tag, although that throw may have arrived a little late. So the Royals get just 1 out.
First of all, this is an outstanding play by Billy to take that in between hop. He tagged first, which means second choice that would have to tag, but it got him in a rundown here. But what Billy has to do here is look at the distance between him and the runner and then yell now. That's how Trey Hillman wants that done. And when he yells now, he throws his hands up, and then the ball's released to him at that point. Where he let Vernon Wells get pretty much even with him, and by the time the ball hit his glove, he was already by me. He tried to really swipe tag him and just threw the ball right out of his glove.
Okay, interesting. So you're saying the way Trey Hillman teaches his play, it's not Mike Avila's judgment on when to throw the ball.
It's the receiving guy.
It's the receiving guy who says now?
He says now, his hands goes up, and he yells now, and Mike releases the ball. He said he's got to stay to the side that Mike's throwing arm is on. But once he released the ball to second base, then Billy's got to close the gap a little bit, and as soon as Mike starts to run it back where he can't change directions, then Billy's got to see the spacing and say now, and now he's got to catch and tag where he let Vernon Wells get even with him. Then he tried to reach and swipe tag and threw the ball away. So here he does a good job. Here he tags the bag, and now he's supposed to cut the distance a little bit from first base. So he stayed back, and then he just didn't read the spacing between him and the runner coming back.
2-2 on Kevin Millar. And by closing the space, you mean throw the ball to Aviles and then kind of move towards Aviles?
He's moving up toward, once he threw the ball to short at second base, then he's got to go up because the catcher's coming right behind him.
4 straight innings, the Royals have turned to double play. perfect holiday for Mexico's favorite beer. Relax responsibly. And by AT&T, switch to the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Six to 2 Royals. They have not had a scoreless half inning yet. Coco got all that started in the bottom of the first with a triple, his major league leading 4th of the year. Scored on Willie Bloomquist's ground ball that tied the game at 1. Blue Jays got another run in the second and led 2-1. The Royals in the bottom of the second getting a 2-run triple from John Buck, and in the third, RBI single Jose Guillen, RBI double Billy Butler, sacrifice fly John Buck. 3-1 on Coco Crisp. Walk number 16 this year for Coco Crisp. Independence Honda Buck Night and Hy-Vee Pepsi Fireworks Friday is coming back on May the 15th. The Royals host the Baltimore Orioles at 7:10, but gates to the new outfield experience open at 4 p.m. so you can start your weekend early. 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com. Hoffman Stadium box offices or Kansas City, St. Joe, or Topeka Hy-Vee food stores, places to purchase your tickets, as Bloomquist lays one down and is thrown out. But Willie Bloomquist with another excellent bunt and just continues to put a, what does they say, put another egg in the basket towards the Royals' victory.
Well, that's true too. It looked like Willie wanted to bunt this ball at third, but the ball bore in on him and ended up going to first base instead. So what looked like maybe a bunt for a base hit turned into a sacrifice.
So Coco at second base, 1 out. Mark Teahen has grounded back to the mound, reached on an error, which turned into an unearned run in the Royals' third inning. It is Easter season, and some managers, coaches will use that symbolism that when the game's over and you win, there are different eggs in the basket that help lead to victory, some eggs bigger than others. But what egg did you add? Maybe you laid down a sac bunt. Mike Winters saying that Teahen went around. Maybe you made a nice play on defense. Maybe a pitcher comes in and gets the final out of an inning.
It could be a base running situation, a catcher throwing out a runner trying to steal. So there's a lot of good ways you can help your ball club during the course of a game and a winning game. But you know, they always say just try to make sure you take something positive home with you every day.
1-2 on Teahen. Scudero making a move towards second base, but no throw. Both teams 6 hits. The Royals have been driving in the runs. The Blue Jays have been hitting into double plays. 4 straight innings they've rolled into a double play. Ooh. 2-2. Mentioned Bullington was the first overall pick in 2002. He was drafted by the Royals out of high school in 1999, but decided to go to Ball State. That is the famous alma mater of David Letterman. Shallow left field. Coming up is Snyder, and retires Teahen. So 2 down. Fox Sports Kansas City is now on Facebook and Twitter. You can become a fan of Fox Sports Kansas City on Facebook and see Royals video and behind the scene photos And you can follow us on Twitter and get unique Royals news and analysis during the game. To find the links, go to our webpage, foxsports.com/Kansas City. If you missed the end of last night's game and Billy Butler being interviewed by Joel Goldberg and getting a pie in the face from Jose Guillen, well, just go to Facebook and you can watch that interview. Oh, and 1 on Guillen, singled, drove home a run and scored in the 3rd inning, putting an end to an 0 for 9. There's the link. It's one of the rare times that Joel didn't see it coming.
All I could hear Joel say was, "Don't get it on my coat."
One ball, one strike. The kind of money he's making, I don't think Joel's worn the same sport coat twice, has he?
I think he's got a deal somewhere.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in the credits, though. Wardrobe sponsored by.
First off, nobody looks more sharp than Frank. And actually, no, that's not true. I don't think I've seen Quirk wear the same jacket, tie, or shirt all year long. I'm faking my way through it. So, and there was a little shaving cream on the coat last night. It did get there. I bumped into Billy Butler's wife coming in with their daughter and saw her in the elevator, and she said, "Billy, what?" She didn't know that it happened. What is that behind your ears and over by your eyes? So I guess he hadn't gotten it all out. Guys, I got a lunch reservations. I'll get back to you in a bit.
Yeah. You gonna meet with that Italian clothes designer?
I got somebody better. I'm not sure that I want to wear what he wears either. I'll leave it at that.
Well, Jamie's got a term for when he dresses, and you say, "Jamie, you look nice today." Yeah, just covering up.
Now Bullington and Chavez having a tough time deciding on the 2-2 pitch to Guillen. Royals trying to score in 4 straight innings today. That's in the seats. Turned out to be a pleasant day. So much rain this past week. And then the game was delayed by 33 minutes today because of rain. Now those clouds starting to break up, getting some sunshine, a very comfortable day. Hoping to get to around 70 degrees right to Scutaro, and that's the inning. We played 4 at Kauffman Stadium. Royals lead 6-2. Immediately after the game, Joel and Jamie will be out there at Rival Sports Star with Boulevard Royals Live with highlights and analysis. Talking perhaps about another big game for the Royals on offense after getting 11 last night. The Royals had 6 after 4 innings, and those 6 runs coming in the first 3. There's Patrick getting everything set out there. Kyle Davies has allowed 6 hits and 1 walk in the first 4 innings, so 7 base runners, but when he's needed to make a pitch, he has. And he's gotten the Blue Jays to ground into a double play in each of the first 4 innings. Jose Bautista grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning. Here's the James B. Nutter pitch count for Davies. 55. He has not had a 20 pitch inning yet. So the double play has really been his best friend today.
It's been huge for him, but you know, when you think about pitching, that's what pitching's all about. You know, you're going to have some innings where you're going to get men on base, but the whole idea is to make the pitch you need to make to get out of trouble, and that's what he's doing today. Two and two on Bautista, followed by Raul Chavez and then Travis Snyder. Still 2 and 2. Jose Bautista, very athletic player, and that was the talk about him when he came to Kansas City in '04. He's played in center field and in third base in this series, so that's showing off some athleticism and versatility. He would be the Willie Bloomquist of the Toronto Blue Jays. You know, it's really invaluable when you have a player like that on your team that can play the outfield and infield. Off the end of the bat, Bloomquist in left field. 1 down. All right, you call it, presented by Sprint. You're going to come out to the game today, midweek afternoon game. What's the best excuse to miss work? 50% going with what could be a legitimate excuse, the way it's been raining, a flooded basement. I predicted, with the good sense of humor of our viewing audience, that a sick dog and cat excuse would be up there, but that's only 6%. That just shows how pragmatic our viewers are. They know that's not going to work. Aviles throws out Chavez, so he's 1 for 2. Kyle's had a couple of innings where he's faced only 3 because of a double play, but now working on his first 1-2-3 inning. But the one thing he's done well is after the 2nd inning, he's put up 2 zeros. And I think that's what really gets him going the right way. It gets the offense thinking, okay, he's going to stabilize right here and we can go out and get more runs. That seesaw back and forth, that's pretty hard on the offense. And strike 1 on Travis Snyder. One thing Kyle did in each of his first 3 starts, there was a point where he settled in and the opposition had no chance. Or at least it appeared that way. First 2 starts, he had stretches of 12 out of 14 retired, and then in his 3rd start, he had a stretch where he retired 16 out of 19. And now he makes a nice play. 1, 2, 3, down go the Jays for the first time, and Kyle has a 4-run lead. And he's had a lot of double plays turned to get him out of some trouble today. Here you go Aviles to Caspo. This is Cal Davis helping himself. As Mark Tien to Caspo to Butler. And that's he gets sawed him off, and Caspo makes a nice backhand play in the bag to complete the double play. But we talked about pitching and what pitching is all about. Mainly is when you look at it, very rarely a pitcher goes out and dominates a ball game. So there's going to be 3 or 4 chances in a game where they're going to have to pitch out of jams and trouble, and that usually determines whether they go deep in the game or come out of the game early. And I think that's what pitching coaches and managers like to see, the mental toughness of a guy once he gets in that situation. And so today, Kyle has been able to weather the storm and come up with the big pitch to get him out of 2 or 3 innings consecutively.
And now he's retired 8 of the last 9. Excellent play by a fan with a Gil Mesh t-shirt, no glove. Watch this. Yeah, the knuckleball grip.
I didn't think it was that easy.
Good day for Billy. Walked and scored in the second. Doubled home a run in the third. So 5 RBIs in the last 2 games. And with that, Trey Hillman moves him up to number 5 in the order, and another hit. 6 hits in the last 2 days. And for the Royals, that's 5 straight innings the leadoff man has been on base. Girls Night Out returns to Kauffman Stadium on Thursday, May the 14th. The Country Club Plaza, Macy's, and 38th The Spot are teaming up for the night. Ticket packages benefit Susan G. Komen for the Cure. First 10,000 ladies receive a Royals cap from the Country Club Plaza. You can sign up for a makeover and get tickets at royals.com/Girls Night Out. Now Mike Jacobs, strikeout, foul out. And 2-0 from Brian Bullington. Now Brian Burris first, and now Brian Bullington not doing a good job today of getting ahead of the hitters. Seems like the Royals hitters have been ahead in the count all day.
And I think the score on the scoreboard reflects that. You pitch ahead, you keep the batting averages down, and pitch behind, everything goes up.
Burris allowed all 6 of the runs in 2+ innings, one of the runs unearned. Bullington in relief, got all 3 outs in the third, a scoreless 4th, and now pitching with Butler at first in the 5th. 3-2 on Mike Jacobs. Still 3-2. Before last night, the Royals had scored just 11 runs in 4 games, so less than 3 runs a game. But now in the last 2, the Royals have scored 17 runs, and there's still a lot of game left today. Royals only batting in the bottom of the 5th. Right side, Millar wants it, but Hill calls him off. That's the first out. Our next telecast is tomorrow night. Billy Butler getting hot at the right time, returning to the Metrodome, where he hit over 360 last year. Coverage begins at 6:30 with Royals Live, followed by the first pitch at 7:10. Sidney Ponson, who pitched briefly for Minnesota, will start for the Royals, and Kevin Slowey, who's off to a 3-0 start, goes for the Twins. Game 1 of 3, and the Royals, after the Sunday afternoon game, return to Kansas City for a pair of 2-game series against the White Sox and the Mariners. Ball 1 to Alberto Callaspo, a double, a walk, and a run scored. Two and 0.
Well, you talked earlier about the Royals offense and how they've hit the last 2 games, and we saw this in spring training. But I think it goes back to pitch selection. In the games where they haven't hit, it's been really a result of them chasing a lot of bad pitches out of the zone. Today they've done a good job of getting ahead of the count, and then when they got their good pitches hit, they've done a good job putting the ball in play.
When guys are chasing pitches out of the strike zone early in the count, is that more of defensive type hitting? Don't want to hit with 2 strikes, don't want to go deep in the count?
It could be that, or it could be the fact that they're trying too hard. You know, usually when you have 2 or 3 guys that are swinging good, then it kind of brings everybody else along with it. But players kind of know who the hitters are on the team that's supposed to do the damage, and when those guys are struggling, then the other guys kind of take on a little more than they want to take on without realizing it, and then they try to guess and try to get out ahead of fastballs, and then you chase a lot of bad balls away.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Callaspo. Well, it comes up. Hitting is contagious both ways.
It's definitely contagious, and in the meeting with Cito today, they asked him about his team starting in the dome and playing in pretty much good weather earlier, and he felt that was an advantage. He said, but in April and May, he said, who likes to play in the cold? And, you know, the hitters are trying to hit, the hands are cold, and it's definitely an advantage to the pitcher.
3rd walk given up by Brian Bullington. Joe Goldberg told us a little while ago he had a lunch date. Where'd you go?
Guys, good day to be in the Diamond Club. The rain has obviously stopped, but a lot of nice food here. Club Burger, Stadium brought hot dog, buffalo wings, and of course, you know, get to hang with good people, or in this case, Lions. How about Slugger? Chugging the ketchup. What would you like on the menu? Chicken. He would like the buffalo wings. Buffalo wings. All right. He likes that. He's very excited. Let's go back up to you guys. Having a good time here, hanging with Slugger in the Diamond Club.
Frank, did you ever notice about 3 out of every 4 Joel vignette has something to do with food?
I can't wait to see him in September.
New Kauffman Stadium so far has been the best thing that's ever happened to Joel Goldberg. All those free food samples.
Some of the food he's brought to the booth has looked pretty good.
1-1 to John Buck. 2-run triple in the 2nd inning, ending in 0 for 15, and then a sac fly in the 3rd. So he's driven in 3 and 13 on the season. Earlier in this series, we talked about putting a hitter who's not right down in the order to take some pressure off of him. When John Buck was hot, Trey Hillman tried to ride that bat and bat him 4th, then cooled off a bit, hitting 8th today, and he's rewarded the manager with 3 RBIs. Hit hard into right center field. Royals are going to get another run. They might get 2. Going to roll all the way to the wall. John Buck is going for his 2nd triple of the game. He has driven in 5. And he is second only to Coco Crisp in triples for the Royals this year.
But John picks on a slider up out over the plate, and he just stays right on the ball, and he drives it in the right center field. I don't think there's anybody any happier today than Kevin Seitzer, because his plan is really working. The guys are really working the ball in the center of the field, and they're getting a lot of hits. And John Buck, you know, the only way that the guy that's going to get a triple that don't usually hit triples is to run hard right out of the box, and he did a great job. 2 triples in the same game by a catcher. That's pretty good right there.
Well, I mean, just think about all the great speed in Royals history, but even that into right field, Rios can really throw, and Buck isn't going to test his arm, so Aviles is 0 for 3, and that's the second time he's been retired with Buck at third in less than 2 outs. But even with all that great speed over the years, Frank, I mean, how many times did you or Willie Wilson, Brian McRae, guys like that ever have 2 triples in a game?
I don't think I ever did. It's not that easy. It's not that easy to hit triples, and he just did a great job of just splitting it. And I think what helps you against the Blue Jays is they play a shallow outfield, and so if you split those guys, then they've got to chase that ball. They want to take away the little stuff, and they're saying if you hit balls like that, then you deserve an extra base hit.
1 strike now on Coco Crisp. John Buck is driven in 5. That ties his career high, driving in 5 in a game, and that gives him the team lead with 15 RBIs. So his stay as the Royals' number 8 hitter might not be a very long one.
Well, we talked about that the other day. What does it take to hit third and hit fourth? It really is a mental attitude of the hitter himself. If you use the same approach and know what kind of hitter you are and stay within yourself, it doesn't matter where you hit in the lineup. But if you go down in that 3rd and 4th spot and you want to take on the persona of someone who is legitimately a number 4 hitter, then that's where you have your problems.
Wells and Snyder. It's Snyder making the catch. Royals get 2 more runs on another triple from John Buck. He has 2 triples today and 5 runs driven in. Freeze Cam and Billy Butler, who had 4 hits and 4 RBIs last night. This is an RBI double in the 3rd inning. 2 more hits today, so 6 hits, 5 RBIs, 6 runs scored just in the last 2 games alone. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. And now Kyle Davies has retired 8 of the last 9. Blue Jays have had the leadoff man on in 4 of the first 5 innings. But Kyle has induced 4 ground ball double plays. And you already know the answer to the question, is that the most in the American League this year? The answer is no. The Indians on Wednesday night in Cleveland turning 6 in 6 straight innings against the Royals. One ball, 2 strikes. John Buck, we've just discovered, after exhaustive research from the Royals production crew, is the second Royals catcher in history to have 2 triples in a game. Just missed the outside, 2-2. You want to take a stab at who the first Royals catcher was?
Darryl Porter.
Well, that didn't take very long. Thanks for the drama, Frank. Good night, everybody. 1978, Darryl Porter had 2 triples in 1 game. Scudero is out for the first time. 1 down in the 6th inning.
I should have waited a little longer.
I thought John Wathan could have been a candidate who ran well. Period. Duke is at the game today, and if I were to finish that sentence in a way that most people do when they refer to players who run well and also happen to play a particular position, he would be waiting for me outside of this booth when the game was over. Aaron Hill 0 for 2. He's grounded into one of those double plays. And now he's hit into 7 this year. That's the most in the American League. So you get a guy with a good level swing like Aaron Hill, who really gets on top of the ball. But at times you can get on top of the ball and hit a ground ball right at someone with men on base.
Well, that's true. He just with a swing on top of the ball, what it does, it gets you down through the ball and creates backspin, and that's a hitter that'll hit a lot of line drives and eventually hit the ball to take off and leave the ballpark. I think most hitting coaches would rather see you hit hard ground balls and line drives than hit a lot of fly balls and then eventually hit a ball out of the ballpark.
Kyle walks just his 2nd of the game. He does not have a strikeout yet, and was striking out about 1 per inning in his first 4 starts. 1 on, 1 out. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Frank White, Joel Goldberg, with producer Kevin Shank, director Steve Kurtenbach, technical director Richard the Rocket Harlan, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and stage manager Mike the Doctor Carruthers. And thousands of other above average individuals, their Fox Sports Kansas City crew. 1-1 on Alex Rios. Singled in the first, popped out in the third. Another thing Kyle has done well today, gave up a lot of hits in the first 3 innings, but just the solo home run to Scudero, everything else has been a single.
You know, Ryan, I think pitchers a lot of times get too hung up on strikeouts. You know, if you're not a power guy with power stuff, then the strikeout shouldn't be on your mind.
And just as I said, it's been all singles today. Rios drives it into the left field corner. So a double, putting runners at second and third and one out.
This is a two-seamer that runs right into his bat. And the two-seamer really, when Kyle wants to throw that, he wants that one to go down. But that one slid right across the plate, right into Rios' bat. But, you know, just kind of getting back to what we said earlier about pitching, I think the guys who average fastballs, a little above average fastballs, they get so wrapped up in strikeouts that I think it increases your walks, and I think it increases your pitch totals. I think they basically just need to understand in these last Bannister's game, 2 strikeouts, and he got deep in the game. It's about making the right pitch, putting the ball in play, and letting your defense do its job.
Strikeout should be a luxury.
It's a luxury. I mean, because if you don't have like a dynamite out pitch or some dynamite movement on your pitch that's going to create swing and misses, then it's better to go location, location, location with all your pitches and just change speeds and stay ahead of hitters.
Ron Mayhay throwing behind Kyle Davies, who's coming up on 80 pitches, so he's in good shape as far as pitch count goes. But because it's been a good offensive day for the Royals, there's been a lot of sitting around for Kyle in between innings, which can cause a pitcher to lose his rhythm. Here's Vernon Wells. Hit into a double play in the first inning, walked in the fourth. Out of play. Vernon Wells' father was a professional football player, and he was once in training camp with the Chiefs back in the late 70s, and now is a very accomplished sports artist in the Dallas area. Jay's going to get a run, but the Royals will take the out. Wells gets his 5th RBI of the series, and now it's 8-3.
I think his dad was a wide receiver. I believe it was Warren Wells. Vernon Wells, I'm sorry. There was a Warren Wells that played for Oakland, yes.
Vernon growing up in the Dallas area. Now, when you go to Texas, or at least when the Royals go to Texas and you go into the visiting clubhouse, there's a great display of all the wonderful artwork from Vernon Wells Sr. and a lot of Major League ball players who have come through Arlington over the years have had their portraits done. And the Rangers ballpark has an art museum out beyond the wall in center field. There's quite a bit of work from Vernon Wells Sr. out there. There's one of your guys, Frank, tumbling over seats to get a foul ball. Although you don't have a whole lot of room to roll around when you're in that seat. Might end up in the lower level. One and two on Adam Lynn. Blue Jays with a run in the 6th inning, their first run since the 2nd. And when they scored in the 2nd inning, that gave the Jays a 2-1 lead. The Royals went on to score 7 unanswered runs. And now Buck wants to go through the signs again with Davies before this 1-2 pitch. Two and two. Both the Royals and the Blue Jays are in that same stretch of games, 20 in a row without an off day. That's the longest you can go without an off day. So neither will have a day without a game until May the 11th. And the count goes from 1-2 to 3-2. So a much more painful day, not just in regard to the score so far for the Blue Jays, but also the number of relievers they're going to have to go through. Davies trying to give the Royals at least 6 innings. It's still 3-2 on Adam Lind. Last night, Zach Greinke, of course, improving to 5-0, and he was able to give the Royals 7 innings. So Trey Hillman only needed 2 innings from his bullpen. Cito Gaston needed 3 relievers and 4 innings from his pen, and had to go to his bullpen early today with Brian Bullington coming in the 3rd inning. Another walk. That's 3 for Davies, and that's his last hitter.
It always kills your bullpen when those starters come out before the 4th inning or the 5th inning. You got to go through so many relievers. If you get back-to-back games like that, it really hurts.
Ron Mayhay in to face Kevin Millar. Who after a slow start has looked really good his last 2 times out, and he'll pitch to right-hand hitting Kevin Millar with runners at 1st and 3rd, 2 outs.
Ron did an outstanding job last year for the Royals in this situation, and the last couple times out he's really had a lot more pop on his fastball and really been recording more strikeouts than normal.
Rios at 3rd base has doubled. Lind at 1st has walked. The run coming home in this inning on a ground out from Vernon Wells that scored Aaron Hill. 1-1 to Millar. Left center field, Coco Crisp. Jays get just 1 in the 6th, and at the end of 5.5, Royals with a 5-run lead. Royals have come up with 8 runs, 8 hits, hit 3 home runs in last night's game. Among their 11 extra base hits, Willie Bloomquist batting against Brandon League. Didn't mean to go around 1-1. Another productive day for Bloomquist. We saw Brandon League last night. Take that back, 2 nights ago. Pitched a scoreless 9th inning with a strikeout. Willie to the right side. Flagged down by Hill. 1 away. Willie has an RBI, a run scored today. And he's made an excellent play. The defensive play of the game in left field. Coming up on Saturday, May the 16th, the first 20,000 fans will receive a stadium replica of new Kauffman Stadium thanks to Fox Sports Kansas City. It's part of a 4-piece collection set that will also include 3 Royals Hall of Fame statues, including one of Frank White. Tickets at 1-800-6-ROYALS, Royals.com, the stadium box office, or area Hy-Vee food stores. So you can go get a gallon of milk, a head of lettuce, a loaf of bread, and tickets to the game on May the 16th. How about that? One stop. Martin is 0 for 3, but he scored a run on base because of an error at first by Kevin Millar in the 3rd. Blue Jays have been ahead 1-0 and 2-1, same as last night. The Royals 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th. They scored 6 against Brian Burris and 2 against Brian Bullington. Tien strikes out on 3 pitches, 2 down in the 6th inning. Before Jose Guillen comes up, let's check in again with Joel Goldberg.
Ryan, I've always said walking the concourse with Frank can add an extra hour. It's a little different with this guy. You cannot walk anywhere without Slugger. Pictures, hellos, kissing babies. That's just the ushers. All right, let's go back up to you. Ryan, you've seen it on the Caravan. Frank, you have too. Doesn't matter what we're doing. All that matters is what that guy or lion is doing over there. He's gone. Back upstairs to you.
It's all about Slugger, especially when you're on a school visit during the Royals Caravan.
We go on those caravans, Ryan, and they always split the kids. They sit Indian style on the floor, and Slugger plays his music. He comes flying out of some door, and he goes head first down between the kids, and they either love him or hate him because all the teachers sitting along the side usually end up with one kid in their lap. There's no in between with Slugger. You know, normally you see a mascot and kids will warm up to him and get better as it goes, but with Slugger, you either like him or you don't.
You could go on a caravan with Zach Greinke, LeBron James, and Barack Obama, and they wouldn't get close to the ovation that Slugger gets when he walks in. Kids, this is the President of the United States. Yeah, that's great. When does Slugger get here? Royals down in order in the 6th inning. broadcast in high definition. Our next HD broadcast will be Saturday night from the Metrodome in Minneapolis. Coverage beginning at 5:30. Royals live. First pitch 6:10. Presented by Time Warner Cable. It's the last season of the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome. And the Minnesota Twins next year will be playing outdoors with no roof. That means cold. It means snow. That means rain. And it means mosquitoes.
Yeah, playing at the old Met, summertime, those mosquitoes, those big black ones, they get all over the place. We had bug spray all over the place. But we had the distinction of closing the old Met in 1982. It was a rainy, cold day in September. And we also had the distinction of closing Tiger Stadium.
I remember that game when Robert Fick hit that grand slam off of Jeff Montgomery. Man, thought the stadium was going to come down.
I remember Carlos Beltran being at the plate, and every pitch, just zillions of cameras going off. It was unbelievable that last day there.
Now, the old Met, which is now the location where the famous Mall of America sits in Bloomington, Minnesota, not far from the airport. No swing by Bautista. But now there's a lot of restaurants and stuff going on, but back then there was a lot of farmland. Right, so I mean that was just a breeding ground for mosquitoes and all the lakes.
Yeah, it wasn't any fun, I tell you.
3-2 on Bautista. It'll be named Target Field. The Target stores are based in Minneapolis, and of course the Minnesota Timberwolves play at Target Center, and they'll be right next to one another. It's a walk to Bautista in the 7th inning. Don't forget to shop the largest online selection of Royals caps, t-shirts, jerseys, and more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get your gear straight from the source. If you can't make it out to the ballpark, try the Royals.com Pro Shop. Nice selection of the new powder blue jerseys. Raul Chavez gave the Blue Jays the lead with a 2-out single in the 2nd inning, 2-1. But now it's 8-3 KC, and Bob McClure seeing something he didn't like with Ron Mayhay, who relieved Kyle Davies last inning and got Kevin Millar to fly out to center field, but now a walk. And after missing with the first pitch to Chavez, trip to the mound from the Royals pitching coach, who celebrated his 57th birthday yesterday.
Yeah, Bob may have noticed something in his delivery that he wanted to remind him of, and maybe to keep him on line.
Two and 0.
The ball is really coming out of Ron's hands well. He's up to 92 on his fastball. So it's a good indication that his arm is starting to feel a lot better.
Two on, nobody out. And because of Coco Crisp's arm, Jose Bautista goes first to third.
Well, they're definitely taking advantage of Coco's arm on certain balls. Line drives like that where he's got to stay back and wait on the ball, and they're just not hesitating at second base. If it's a ground ball up the middle where he can charge, it might be a different story.
Now the Royals have to be careful. This game is not over. Blue Jays still have 9 outs to work with on offense, and remember, they lead the league in runs scored. So it's a comfortable lead at the moment, 5 runs. But the Blue Jays do something in the 7th inning, then all of a sudden it's a not so comfortable lead.
Well, their offense is where it is for a reason, and if you get behind and give them a chance to sit on you, they can do some damage.
Now it's a 4-run game. And Trey Hillman is going to go to the bullpen. So a walk and 2 singles. Now all of a sudden the potential tying run is in the on-deck circle. Dickey 7th inning. Royals at one point had a 6-run lead, but Toronto with 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. Now it's a 4-run lead. Jamie Wright inherits runners at first and second and nobody out, and Marco Scutaro to the plate. Kyle Davies 5 2/3 innings, gave up 3 runs. Mayhay retired the last batter in the 6th inning and then allowed a walk and 2 singles to begin the 7th. So a run is scored, and now Scutaro with Chavez at second base, Snyder at first, who has just driven in Bautista. Scutaro opened the game with his 5th home run of the year. He has also singled and grounded out 2 out of 3. And on base 9 times in the series. Royals are ready for a bunt, but Scutaro is going to take low, ball 1. Royals not necessarily convinced that Scutaro is going to lay one down, but they're prepared just in case he does. And I'm talking, when I say bunt, not just a sacrifice, but he might even lay one down for a base hit.
Well, he has attempted 1 already today. With Chavez is second, with that speed, that's probably why they won't bunt. Jamie's a good fielding pitcher, gets off the mound real well. Right now his job mainly is to just try to get a sinker in there and try to induce a ground ball.
Double play has been a good friend of the Royals this afternoon. They've turned 4. And that was in the first 4 innings of the game. And there's showing the bunt, teeing near the edge of the grass on the left side. 2 balls, 1 strike. He hasn't gotten on base every time he's come to the plate, but Marco Scutaro has not had a poor plate appearance yet.
He's shown the ability to be patient and get walks. He's shown the ability to look first pitch fastball and drive the ball. And right now he's just going through some routines to get the corner guys in, so if you hit one, they can get by him.
Royals with a chance with their 5th double play, and they get it. And that is the biggest one of the day.
Well, Jamie Wright does exactly what Trey Hillman brings him in the game to do. Induce a ground ball. It's a nice sinker down and away. Caspo, Aviles, Butler.
So Chavez at third base, 2 outs. And Aaron Hill, who leads the league with 38 hits. Third ball a little bit outside. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He grounded into a double play in the 3rd inning. Two balls, no strikes. If you go back the last 13 years since Jamie Wright first came to the big leagues, he is in the top 10 as far as pitchers who have induced the most ground ball double plays. Now 3-0, and again it gets a little scary if Aaron Hill were to reach with a walk. Now you're getting into the 3 and 4 hitters in the Blue Jays lineup in a 4-run game.
Well, that's always scary because now you can't afford to make mistakes, and when you can't afford to make mistakes, that's when you do make mistakes, and that's when they sit and wait on you. So it's key that he gets this hitter here to do something on this particular pitch.
It's a 4-pitch walk. The Royals have walked 5 today. Blue Jays simply won't go away as Alex Rios comes to the plate. Only 5 hits in the series, and he is without an RBI. Rios has driven in 12 this year. He's hit only 1 home run. Good breaking ball for strike 1.
It's that hard slider that Jamie Wright threw, and it just didn't really go out over the plate. It kind of backed up on him and stayed on the inside corner. I don't think he really liked where that pitch was, especially to Rios, who likes the ball down and in.
One ball, 1 strike. Of course, Joakim Soria is still not available. He's getting closer, and the Royals have been encouraged with his throwing sessions. There is a chance he could be available during the Minnesota series. We know for sure he is not available today. On the ground up the middle, Aviles to the bag, and the Jays get just 1, and the Royals still lead by 4. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium, 8-4 Royals. To 4 Royals. Panera Bread takes us around the American League. Afternoon games. A's at the Rangers. Rangers in second place. A's in last in the West. Angels at the Yankees later tonight. Angels won 3 in a row. Red Sox and the Rays. Boston tied with Toronto for first place in the East. Billy Butler right on the nose, but right to Aaron Hill. So he is obviously locked in with the swings he's had the last 2 days. Billy 2 for 2 with a walk before that at bat, giving him 6 hits, 5 RBIs, and 6 runs in the last 2 games.
If he stays right there, he's going to have some kind of year, because when he's hot, he's in that area that he's hitting the ball right now. And he's able to wait on the ball, see the ball longer, and trust his hands to get the bat through the zone. So just working that middle, and when he does that, he's going to be hot for a while.
Ball 1 on Mike Jacobs, 0 for 3. Facing hard-throwing Brandon League. It's 96 on the radar gun. Told you when he appeared in the game 2 days ago that once at the AA All-Star game, it was 5 years ago, he hit 102 on the radar gun. Here's the Firestone in-game box score to give you a rundown of what the Royals have done at the plate today. 96 again. It's 2-1 on Jacobs. Another good day at the plate for the Royals, and another day where the offense is really spread out. Jacobs and Aviles are the only Royals so far that have not either scored a run or driven in a run. Crisp with a run scored. Bloomquist, run scored and an RBI. Martin has scored a run. Jose Guillen, a run and RBI. Billy Butler, 2 runs and RBI. Alberto Callaspo has scored twice. John Buck has driven in 5 and has 2 triples. Don't need to adjust your television. That's right, 2 triples. In this series with the Blue Jays, in the last 2 days in particular, have been very friendly to players who had long streaks without a hit.
Well, with your predictions, they've done well.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, when you make a prediction on me, just make sure it's a positive one.
Okay.
Because you're right too many times.
Okay. How about Frank White is going to wear a nice tie tomorrow?
That would be true.
Yeah. Okay.
A nice polo shirt might look pretty good.
Got to make sure you pick out your best ones on the high definition dates, because you get a little closer look at the tie, you know. Again, 96 with the fastball from Brandon League.
That's an easy 96, and got that low 3/4 arm slot. The ball moves a lot, so he can be difficult to face.
Goes off speed to strike him out. Jacobs is 0 for 4. This was a homestand that began with the Royals not putting up a whole lot of offense. 17 runs scored in the first 5, 19 in the last 2. Batting average over 150 points better. 9 doubles, 7 of those last night. 2 of the 5 triples from John Buck today, and 3 of the 4 home runs in the last 2 days. 0-1 on Alberto Callaspo. Two walks, 2 runs scored, and a double for Callaspo today. then a little late tail to make it 0-2.
Yeah, the lower he drops that arm, the more sink he gets, too. It's a tough ball to track, and the way Caspo swings left-handed, he kind of covers the middle on the ball up, and it goes the other way, but when it's down, he tends to want to pull a little more.
An impressive inning, an impressive outing for Brandon League. 6 up, 6 down with 3 strikeouts. Salads, inventive sandwiches, and savory breakfast items. Panera Bread, where every detail matters. Mitch Meyer takes over in right field as we go to the 8th inning. Trey Hillman improving his defense. Royals working with a 4-run lead. Jamie Wright did an excellent job of getting the Royals out of what could have been a painful 7th inning. And if you're going to face Vernon Wells this late in the game, you want to face him with nobody on base. And the Royals didn't have to see him at all in the 7th inning, thanks to Wright coming on and getting a ground ball double play from Scudero. And then a ground out with 2 on against Alex Rios. It's 0-2 on Vernon Wells. Base hit. Wells' first hit of the day. And the Blue Jays 10th, so they've out-hit the Royals 10-8. But the big item today has been the double plays. The Royals have not hit into a double play. And they made the most of their 8 hits, scoring 8 runs. The Jays have hit into 5 double plays. Just missed outside. Adam Lynn singled, scored a run in the 2nd inning. Grounded out in the 4th, walked in the 6th. Two balls, no strikes.
Well, Jamie's got good movement on his sinker. He's just not making it enticing enough to the hitter. It's almost like it's a ball right out of his hand. You got to throw it at the center and let the hitter chase it away. But if you throw it at the corner, it's almost a ball right away, and they see it right out of his hand.
Two and one. Well, we hope it doesn't get to this. This might be the first time that Trey Hillman would have to decide on a 9th inning man to close the game if it's 3 runs or less going into the 9th. Good pitch to make it 2-2. The Royals have been the benefit of good fortune that ever since Soria has not been available, there hasn't been a true save situation where Trey in the dugout is lamenting the fact that Soria isn't available. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I'm sure he's thinking about it, but I think in the long run of things, you can't have him. You know he's not going to be available, but you still want a chance to win the game. So now it just comes down to who's going to get it done for you.
Soria is listed because he's not on the disabled list, but not available. Into deep right field, Mitch Meyer all the way back, and it's a 2-run game. So a 6-run lead has been reduced to a 2-run lead.
Well, as we mentioned, Jamie was having a hard time with his location. He was 0-2 to Vernon Wells and left the ball up out over the plate. He got a base hit to center field. And here he just leaves the fastball right in the center of the plate.
Still nobody out. And ball 1 to Kevin Millar, 1 out of 3 today. Two and 0. Juan Cruz just now starting to play catch. Bob McClure is going to go out and talk to Jamie Wright. Royals with 5 walks. And 2 of those walks coming around to score. 2 ways to look at it. I mean, I don't think Bob McClure or anyone is going to make any excuses. But the Royals going up against a team that walks more than anyone else in the American League. So you're going to have to work hard against 1 through 9 in this lineup, because they will take the free base.
They'll take the free base and they'll make you work hard to get them good pitches to hit. And if you get behind, then they're able to sit on you and get the pitch they want. And so far this season, they haven't missed those pitches.
Three and 0 to Millar. Potential tying run is in the on deck circle. Four-pitch walk.
Well, the thing that makes Jamie Wright really effective with his sinker is when it goes down. Here his wrist is out a little further, and the ball is really just sliding across the plate right into a ball. If it goes down, then he'll be able to get more. He might be able to induce the hitter to swing at the ball a little more.
Just got the inside corner on Bautista. So there you go. The American League leaders, 104 walks for Toronto. Just inside 1-1. 6 walks in the game today. Just 2 against Greinke and the bullpen last night, but 6 walks on Tuesday and 6 walks on Monday. So 3 out of 4 games, Blue Jays have walked at least 6 times. And that curveball's in there, 1-2.
But John does a great job here to help Jamie on this slider. He just took it at his highest point and let his hand just casually go down. When a lot of catches a jerker, and the hitter and the umpire will have a hard time calling another strike.
Strikeout for Jamie Wright. That's the first strikeout for a Royals pitcher today. Comes in a good spot. And now with the catcher hitting, Raul Chavez coming up, you start thinking about ground ball and inning double play, which would be the 6th for the Royals this afternoon.
Well, Jamie's definitely had a hard time controlling the release point on his sinker. It's starting to slide across the plate rather than go down, and they instantly recognize that maybe we need to go to another pitch, and that's when they went to the breaking ball.
Chavez didn't think that was a strike.
Well, the difference in that sinker there, Ryan, is it went down. It didn't slide across the plate like the other ones, and it looks a lot better not only to the umpire, but looks better to the hitter.
No swing. James Hoy is the umpire at first base. 1-1 on Chavez. A single and a 2-run home run for the Jays in this 8th inning. Make it a 2-run game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Toronto has led 1-0. They've led 2-1. They've been down 8-2. Royals had 7 unanswered runs at one point, but chipping away at the lead. 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and now 2 here in the 8th. Did he get a piece? Yes. Just barely nicked it. Chavez still alive. Jamie Wright has been a valuable member of the Royals bullpen. Remember, he was a non-roster invitee in spring training. He had no guarantee of making the Royals. Still 1-2. And not only did he make the club, but today he's making his 9th appearance. That's the most of any pitcher out of the bullpen.
Well, he has the ability to bounce back the next day from relief to relief appearance, and he has that sinker that really plays big when it's working right, because you can come in and get a ground ball and get yourself out of trouble and get back in the dugout.
And sinker guys, you want to pitch a lot, right? You don't want them to be too strong.
Right. They like to be a little bit more tired because it creates a little more sink.
Chance for another double play. Aviles on the bag. 6 double plays today. 6. And a 2-run lead. Now 2-run Royals lead going into the bottom of the 8th inning. Jesse Carlson, a lefty, will be the new Blue Jays pitcher after 2 perfect innings from Brandon League. So good to see him out. And Carlson will pitch to John Buck, Mike Aviles, and Coco Crisp. Jesse Carlson pitched on Tuesday. A scoreless 7th inning, 1 strikeout. John Buck has tied a career high today with 5 RBIs. A pair of 2-run triples. Becoming the first Royals catcher to have 2 triples in a game since Darrell Porter in 1978. The Royals on defense just turned their 6th double play. That ties a franchise record and an American League record. The Indians did that to the Royals in Cleveland last week, turning 6 double plays. It's the 3rd time in Royals history they've turned 6 double plays, but you have to go back to pre-Frank White for the last one, May of 1972. Cinco de Mayo of 1972. John Buck had been 0 for his last 15 coming in today. And he belts it again deep into left field. And has his 3rd extra base hit. So 2 triples and a double. And the Royals looking to add on in the bottom of the 8th.
This is John's first triple off the top of the wall in left center field. And the second one drove it in the gap in right center field. The good thing about John, he left the home plate running really hard. And now he gets it slotted down and in and drives it in the left field corner. All I can say to that, Ryan, is what a great day.
And now Mike Aviles trying to get him over to 3rd base. Gets the bunt down. The play is to first. There's a great example, Frank. Twice earlier in the game, the Royals needed Aviles to try and get a runner home from 3rd base with less than 2 outs. Didn't get it done, but he gets a 3rd chance to move a runner late in the game, and he gets the job done.
And that's what we talked about doing something positive for the ball club, making sure you take something positive home. And when you have a bunt in the 8th inning like this, that's big for the club.
And the Blue Jays are going to bring the infield in for Coco Crisp. 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored today. Coco faced Carlson in the game on Tuesday and grounded out to shortstop. He is 0 for 2 against Carlson. And the Blue Jays thought the Royals were going to squeeze a runner home. Well, why not? The way that John Buck has been running today. Heck, John might just steal home. Who knows? The scouting reports are changing on John Buck as we speak. Two balls and no strikes. Now let's see what the Blue Jays do with Coco falling behind. They have an open base to work with. But if you put Crisp on, now you're putting excellent speed at first and excellent speed coming up in Willie Bloomquist. Two and one. Odds are not very good of turning a double play when you're dealing with Crisp is the runner and Bloomquist is the batter runner.
Yeah, that would give Trey an opportunity with those two guys. He can with the left hand on the mound, he can even hit and run in that situation. And I've seen managers do that to get that run in from third base. All the hitter has to do is get the ball on the ground.
Two balls, two strikes. Did she catch that ball? Well, whatever happened, they're sure having a heck of a time, aren't they? Hey, catch is a catch, right? Three balls, two strikes. John Buck, leadoff double. Mike Avila's bunt got him to third. Infield in for the Blue Jays. Trying to keep this at a 2-run game. And we'll do it again. Well, it appears that when we get to the top of the 9th inning, it's going to be Juan Cruz coming on for the save. The question is, will Cruz be protecting a 2-run lead or a 3-run lead?
Well, the Jays are set up with Scudero over in the hole more, and you got Hill more toward first base to take away from Coco hitting the right field. But it gives me an indication they're going to throw a breaking ball right here.
Shallow right field. The infield is in. Rios makes the catch, and Buck will go halfway. So that time, the shallow outfield alignment paid off for Toronto. And now 2 outs with Buck down at third.
I'm sure they've done a lot of research on how many balls are actually over your head, and when they're over your head, what happens, or how many balls actually fall in front. So when you have good speed in your outfield, you're better off to play them in shallow, because the only balls that can hurt them would be balls like John Buck hit for triples or Coco hit for triples. These are balls that are probably tough to catch anyway.
This is game 7 and the final game of the homestand. The Royals have only scored 2 runs past the 7th inning the entire homestand, and want to change that here. 1-0 on Willie Bloomquist. An RBI, a run scored, a single, a sac bunt. Another Willie Bloomquist type of a day. Willie is 4 out of 9. 3 walks, 2 sac bunts, 4 runs scored, and now make it 4 walks as the Blue Jays want to put him on base and set up the lefty Carlson against Tien. How many times has Willie Bloomquist been intentionally walked? So first and third, 2 down, and Mark Tien coming up. Fourth inning last night, Mark Tien against a left-hand pitcher, Brian Tallett, his 4th home run of the year. And now against the lefty Jesse Carlson. Did not face Carlson on Tuesday when he first appeared in the series. Tien 1 for 1 with a single against him in prior at-bats, and that's ball 1 outside.
Well, Mark's been kind of giving a little bit to the ball away today, and I think that's probably what Cito Gaston saw. He didn't really stay in quite as well early in the game, so Mark's had to really make the same effort that he did last night in this situation here.
1-1. Tien's hit against Carlson was a double.
Well, this situation at first, usually you're holding the runner, but Millard's playing behind Bloomquist. So if he wants to take second, they're willing to give it to him in this situation.
And Willie takes off. And the count goes to 2-1. No stolen base. Defensive indifference. That was the third time in his career that Willie Bloomquist was intentionally walked. Center field, Vernon Wells has room. The Royals strand 2. And we go to the 9th inning, the first save opportunity with Soria out. Eight more runs after getting 11 last night. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion about this top of the 9th inning as Juan Cruz comes on for the save. And this is the first save opportunity since Joakim Soria was deemed unavailable at the beginning of this homestand. Travis Snyder takes ball 1. 1 for 3. Driving in a run with a single in the 7th inning. One ball, one strike.
In our You Call It poll, the fans voted Juan Cruz as the relief pitcher they'd most like to see in this situation.
2 balls, 1 strike. Juan Cruz has 1 major league save. And that was back in 2002 with the Cubs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And now Cruz tying Jamie Wright for the team lead in games pitched. Juan Cruz joining the Royals late in spring training. Busted his bat. And Callaspo making the play on the right side.
That's that good late breaking slider. Got in on his hands. The ball just broke late. It just jumped right. Oh, my God. That's what you call ouch. That hurts.
And now 0-1 on Scutaro, who's had a great series. Not a whole lot of hits, but he's homered today. 4 hits, but 5 walks and 6 runs scored. One ball, 1 strike. Kyle Davies, the first 5 2/3. Left the game with an 8-3 lead. Ron Mayhay, a third of an inning, allowed 1 run. Jamie Wright, 2 innings, giving up 2 runs. At one point, the Royals led 8-2. Popped up. Billy Butler in foul ground. 2 away. Well, every out is huge when you have a 2-run lead in the 9th inning. But the outs get bigger as we get deeper into the batting order, and this is number 2 hitter Aaron Hill with Rios and Vernon Wells behind him, and Cruz jumps ahead 0-1. Hill 0 for 2, 2 walks and a run scored.
Well, it's nice to see Royals fans on their feet in the 9th. We'll probably say that all year when we get to this point, because it's nice to see our fans up cheering for a victory.
Now down to the last strike. Typically, Joakim Soria would be out there finishing off the game. We hope to see him during the Minnesota series.
The one thing, none of the other guys have a theme song when they come in the game.
96 miles an hour, still 0-2 on Aaron Hill. A win today, and the Royals assure themselves of a winning April. And they could go into Minnesota 2 games above 500. Got it. Game over. Juan Cruz with a 1-2-3, top of the 9th inning, and John Buck with his 5 RBIs helping lead the Royals to an 8-6 victory, and the Royals taking 3 out of 4 from the Toronto Blue Jays.
Here's strike 3 here, Ryan. Great breaking slider down and away. You see Cruz, a lot of excitement in that pitch. Soria said, hey, way to go, way to go.
So just the 2nd major league save for Juan Cruz, and his first since 2002 when he got a save for the Chicago Cubs. So another big game at the plate for the Royals. 8 runs, 9 hits, 19 runs scored in the last 2 days. Kyle Davies improves to 2-1 with the victory. And again, the big star on offense was John Buck, who had been 0 for his last 15, but 2 triples, 5 RBIs for Buck, and he was 3 for 3. Royals win at 8-6. Time now for Boulevard Royals Live.